everyone. I hope you're hanging in there. Today we're going to walk through lessons 101 to 104. So let's get started. This week you're going to need the lessons manual, the student worksheet book, the math card games manual with the game cards, the centimeter cubes, the 4-in-1 ruler, the drawing board, the T-square, the 30-60 triangle, the folding meter stick, the colored tiles, and either 2 or 4 sheets of 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. The paper is not included in your Right Start Math materials. This week, your child is going to start off with a review lesson, and then they're going to work on measurements. So let's get started by turning to lesson 101. This is a review lesson. Now, if you've purchased electronic worksheets in 2019 or before, there is a correction for worksheet 67B. So make sure you make the necessary changes before you give that worksheet to your child to complete. This lesson, you're going to give your child either worksheet 67A or 67B. As always, if your child struggles with this worksheet or just a section of the worksheet, you'll want to go back and review the lesson or lessons that cover that particular topic that your child struggled on. After reviewing those lessons, then you can give your child the second worksheet if you wish. You're going to want to wait, though, a day or two after you review those lessons, just so that you know that the material has been absorbed in your child's mind. As always, I'm going to give you a list of the lessons to review if your child struggled with any question on this worksheet. If your child struggled with problem 1, which is $1 minus 42 cents, review lessons 97, 98, 99, and 100. If your child struggled with problem number 2, 98 cents minus 39 cents, review lessons 97, 98, 99, and 100. For problem 3, $44 plus $77, review lessons 20 and 21. For problem 4, which is 3 dimes plus 19 cents, review lessons 97, 98, 99, and 100. For problem 5, which is $3.39 plus 21 cents, review lessons 97, 98, 99, and 100. For problem 6, $1.31 minus 32 cents. Take a look at lessons 97, 98, 99, and 100. For problems 7 and 8, which is multi-digit addition, the problems with the multi-digit addition, review lessons 27, 28, 29, and 30. For problem 9, which is the 77,741 minus 5,769, review lessons 88, 89, 90, 91, and 92. For problem 10, which is the word problem, review lessons 98 and 100. For problems 11 through 20, which all of them are money comparison problems, review lessons 97, 98, 99, and 100. The math card game for this lesson is Make 75 Cents. Now, there is not a blog for this game, but it is played just like the Make 16 Cents, which we do have a blog for, and that blog is called 2020 Summer Games Number 10, Make 16 Cents. All right, well, let's go ahead and turn to lesson 102. The first paragraph of this warm-up is going to have your child complete lessons or problems 11 and 12 from the practice worksheet number 1. Now remember, those practice worksheets are in the back of the student worksheets book after the journal pages. The second paragraph of the warm-up is going to have your child compare money questions or ask questions comparing money. The third paragraph is going to discuss and ask questions about how to write money and compare money quantities. The fourth paragraph of the warm-up is going to have your child compare centimeters to inches. Now, if needed, your child can reference their 4-in-1 ruler. You will then give your child worksheet 68. Now, the first problem of the worksheet is going to have your child measure and compare lines A and B on the worksheet. So here's line A and here is line B, and they're going to measure those two lines in centimeters and find out which one is larger. In this section, you're also going to show your child the centimeter cube, and you're going to remind them that each side of the centimeter cube, I'm having a hard time showing you, each side of that centimeter cube is 1 centimeter long. So if you stacked or set up in a row 3 different centimeter cubes, you're going to ask the child, how long is that line? How long are those 3 centimeter cubes in a row? And it would be 3 centimeters. Now for problem 2, you're going to have your child read through that first sentence, which is going to include the term perimeter. So you're going to want to review what perimeter is. At the very bottom of the first page of the lesson, I love how Right Start Math breaks down the word. Peri means around and meter means measure. So perimeter means measurement around an object. Now, kids often forget or confuse the formulas for perimeter, area, and volume. However, when they understand what the term means, like perimeter, then remembering what the formula is no longer a concern, because they know what exactly it's talking about and they just need to learn to calculate. So make sure that when you're talking about perimeter, have your child say and define the definition of perimeter, and do it so frequently that whenever your child sees the word perimeter, they think measurement around. Perimeter around, measurement around, making sure that it's just an automatic thing. They're just automatically thinking that. And that's going to really help your child later on. You will then have your child measure each side of the shape that's provided here, this shape here, and then calculate the perimeter, which means measurement around. Now, of course, you're not going to tell your child exactly what to do, but you're going to ask questions to guide them through and help them to think about what happens next. Now for problem 3, your child is going to read through the problem first. And the problem says, find the perimeter of the regular pentagon, write the equation 2 ways using addition and multiplication. So here is the pentagon. Now remember, a pentagon or a regular pentagon means that every single one of these sides are equal. So your child can write 2 equations. Now each side, just so you know, each side is going to measure 3.5. So you can write the equation in addition, 3.5 plus 3.5 plus 3.5 plus 3.5 plus 3.5 equals 17.5. Or you can do, there are 5 sides, right? 5 times 3.5 again equals 17.5. Those equations and answers are also included in the lesson manual. For problem 4, your child is going to find the perimeter of the star. Now the star is also shown as a regular polygon, and it lists it as a regular polygon. So the student really only needs to measure one side and then count up how many sides there are, which there are 10, and then use multiplication. Now, if your child starts off by measuring every single side of the star and they're measuring all around, go ahead and let them. Then after they complete their task, tell them that because it's a regular polygon, they really only needed to measure one side because all of the rest of the sides are the same. And that will help your child. Making mistakes is helping your child learn as well. Now, your child may want to try to solve this problem using addition. However, you're wanting them to see how much easier it is to solve and write using multiplication, because this star has 10 different sides, right? So they would be writing 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, as opposed to 2 times 10. And that would be much easier to complete. So helping your child understand that multiplication makes problem solving and writing much easier. Now, the last part of the worksheet is going to have your child compare all of the shapes and answer various questions at the bottom of the worksheet. Now, the answers to those questions are in your lesson manual. There is not a math card game listed for this lesson, so you're going to want to pick a game that will strengthen your child's math facts skills. Maybe include a multiplication math card game. Well, let's go ahead and turn to lesson 103. The first part of the warm-up is going to have your child complete problems 1 and 2 on practice worksheet number 2. So they moved on to the next practice worksheet. The second paragraph is going to ask questions about different forms of measurements. And the third paragraph is going to have your child count by tens. Then you're going to give your child worksheet 69 with the T-square, the 30-60 triangle, the 4-in-1 ruler. And then your child is going to start off by reading the instructions on the top of the worksheet. And the instructions say, draw a rectangle that measures 7.5 centimeters by 3 centimeters. And they start at the dot. So let me demonstrate how they're going to draw this particular rectangle. So the first step for worksheet 69 is to read the directions. Draw a rectangle that measures 7.5 centimeters by 3 centimeters. We're going to start at the dot and then we'll find the perimeter in centimeters. I'm only going to show you how to draw this shape. Your child and you and your child will work together to find the perimeter. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to start at the dot and we're going to draw a line that is more than 7.5 centimeters. So I like to make them extra large, that way I can always not use the rest. Then I'm going to get my 4-in-1 ruler and I'm going to measure 7.5 centimeters. So I'm going to start at the 0, find 7.5 and make a tick mark. Then I'm going to use my 30-60 triangle so I can draw a vertical line. Line that up and line it up again with the dot. Now I'm going to measure these side lines and they need to be 3 centimeters tall. So I'm going to line up the 3 next to this bottom line here and then draw a tick mark up at that 0, and that's where my line is going to go across. And now I have my rectangle that measures 7.5 centimeters by 3 centimeters. Now, problem 2 on this worksheet is going to do the exact same thing, except they're going to draw the rectangle using inches instead of centimeters. Then your child is going to find the perimeter of both rectangles, and then they will write the equations and solve. The solutions are listed at the very bottom of the second page of the lesson. Now, there is not a math card game, again, listed for this lesson, so make sure that you pick a game that will continue to strengthen your child's math facts. Now, I know that is very, very tempting to skip the math card games, but they are extremely important to continue doing so your child does not forget their math facts. They're not doing much in arithmetic during some of these lessons, so you need those math card games to keep those math facts strong. All right, well, let's go ahead and turn to lesson 104. For this lesson, you're going to need the meter stick, and that looks like this. It's a folding meter stick. And you're going to need 2 or 4 sheets of 11 or 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. Again, the first paragraph of the warm-up is going to have your child solve problems 3 and 4 on practice worksheet 2. The second paragraph is going to have your child compare centimeters and inches. The third paragraph is going to have your child count by tens, and the fourth paragraph is going to have your child review fractions. If they're struggling with any elements of this, go ahead and pick a math card game that will focus on one of those topics so they can keep those solid. Now take a look at the section called 1 foot. In this section, you're going to give your child the colored tiles and the 4-in-1 ruler. These are the colored tiles, and this is the 4-in-1 ruler. Now you're going to have your child lay down 12 tiles in a row, and then they're going to use their 4-in-1 ruler to measure those tiles. It should equal 12 inches. However, my colored tiles are just ever so slightly off, so it didn't quite measure 12 inches. So what I did is I put just a tiny little space in between each of the tiles, or I just told them to round up to 12 inches. So if your tiles don't measure exactly 12 inches and you have a child that's kind of squirming about that, those are some tricks that you can do to help make those tiles equal 12. Then you're going to explain to your child that 12 inches is also equal to 1 foot. And there's a little bit of history in that section, as well as some comparison questions using the foot measurement. Now look at the section called 1 yard. In this section, you're going to give your child the meter stick, Now, the meter stick is really fragile, or it can be really fragile. So when they open it up, make sure they're opening it up very carefully, because if you bend it too far, you're going to break it. And then it can open up this way as well. And you're going to want to tell your child to take a look at the inches side of the meter stick. And there are 36 inches on the meter stick. So then you're going to tell your child that 36 inches is equal to 1 yard. You will then have your child use the 4-in-1 ruler, the inches side, and see how many feet are in a yard. And your child will discover that there are 3 feet in a yard. Now take a look at the section called Problem 1. In this section, you're going to use sheets of paper. Now I found you're going to need 2 sheets of paper at least. I found, though, that if I'm measuring, my kids, when they were measuring, it was much easier and more accurate and less frustrating for my child if I actually taped the 2 sheets of papers together. So if you have 4 sheets of paper, and then you could tape 2 together on the long side and then tape another 2 together on the short side. I found that works really well with my kids. You will then have your child measure around the sheet of paper using their 4-in-1 ruler. Now, there's going to be their sheet is going to be longer than 1 foot. So I'm having a hard time holding it up here, but you can see here, if I start here measuring at the 1, this sheet, this length, this side is going to be more than 12. So what my kids did was they just wrote a little tick mark here, and then they moved their 4-in-1 ruler and put the 0 there and continued measuring across. I'm having a hard time holding it up, but you can see what I mean. After your child measures the top part of that specific, those 2 pieces of paper, they're going to find that the top part measures 1 foot 5 inches. Now, by the way, when you say that, there is no and. It's not 1 feet and 5 inches. It's just said 1 foot 5 inches. Then you're going to have your child do problem 2, which is measuring around the sheets of paper where the pages are taped on the short side. So again, taping your pages together makes it much easier to work with. Now, there is not a math card game listed for this lesson, so pick a game that's going to strengthen up your child's math facts. Keep those strong. Well, that's it for the week. If you have any questions or concerns about a lesson, or if your child is struggling with something, give us a call or email us. We're here to help. I look forward to seeing you next week when we cover lessons 105 to 108. Have a great week, everybody.